Hey, good morning. It's early. Magnifying glass. Disclaimer, I'm going to get pretty woo in this little episode here, so hold on to your hats. Or maybe I should say, hold on to your wings. Yeah. A magnifying glass. Seconds ago, I ended a meditation from Insight Timer, performed by Nicky Sutton. She's very British, and she has a soothing voice. And so again, woo disclaimer, but it's something like meet your guardian angels or something like that, right? And so these meditations I do, they're guided. And again, sort of a disclaimer is that it's okay to fall in and out of sort of the consciousness or subconsciousness or unconsciousness even while listening to these things, right? And that's fine. In my humble 10 plus year meditation experience, the goal is not, even my wife still says, the goal is to clear your mind of nothing. I'm like, no, the goal is to put the shopping list aside for 28 seconds and try to have a clear thought. That's kind of it. And speaking of which, I mean, the time is brief. So maybe a 20-minute meditation, right? And if I have 2 minutes of sort of clarity, it's a good one. So that's sort of the ratio that's absolutely fine with me, because if I have one clear thought, it's already a win. So here's my clear thought. And this is where the guided part helps. So my girl Nikki, there's one point where there's sort of beings around you, and if you can just flow with it and go with it and roll with it, then sometimes something just pops in. So today, or this morning rather, which is right now still, there's something like the angels or the guardians or whatever, they give you something. And this is kind of the cool part, because if you let it come to you, you just let it appear or let it arrive or surrender to what it might be, it can be pretty interesting. And so based on my conversations yesterday, influenced by your real life, of course, you're influenced probably by your dreams and your relationships and everything and your realities. And so what the angel gave me was a magnifying glass. And it immediately brought me back to when I was 8 years old or 12 years old, or no, probably more like 8 years old. And I would sit on my driveway by my childhood home, and I was fascinated by this, with the power of the sun. And it didn't even need to be a super hot day or anything, but the power of the sun with a magnifying glass. And I realized, like, the bigger the magnifying glass, the more powerful the light was, right? And I could set a leaf on fire. It had to be sort of a brown leaf, right? But it would go into flames. I'd have to be patient, and I would have to find the focal point where, just enough far away, the distance, how high did I hold the magnifying glass? And it didn't matter how bright the sun was that day, and were there clouds or was it rain? If it's rainy, it's not going to work. And if it's sunny, that helps. And I'd had to angle the magnifying glass, and then I would see the point of light on the leaf, and it would get black, and then it would start smoking. And if I kept it up, and I was patient and diligent, then it might start a flame. So that was my visual. And what do I take from that several decades later, and with an angel handing me a magnifying glass? And my word of the year 2 years ago was focus. And I can't say that I have conquered focus. And the conversations I had yesterday, they all all rallied around the idea of focus and, you're doing too many things and focus on one thing. And for example, I was listening to one of my heroes, Andrew Davis, who's a public speaker and a keynote speaker and just a fantastic guy. And he even said, he's like, hey, by the end of the week, have one problem that you're looking to solve. And then it was kind of cool. He said, don't use AI to find the problem or address the problem or uncover the problem or name the problem, and don't use AI to solve it. I thought, ooh, challenge. Because I use AI for a lot in my thinking lately. So there you have it. The magnifying glass. First thing in the morning. It's dark. I'm literally in the dark right now. Metaphorically as well. That's bad. So, by the way, I can highly recommend this, the guided meditation in the morning, and then some kind of creation where you're recording your thoughts or writing down your thoughts. I like the audio because you can just blab it out. I am a bit of a nutcase because I will publish this, but I do this to help you, listener or viewer, to see kind of how easy it can be to get some clarity in your life. But we need help, and we need these guides. We need if you're woo enough, you might have the angels or the guardians or the guardian angels, and someone like me who is a guide to help you, the hero, overcome the problem with a plan to call you to action to avoid failure and achieve success. And how are we doing that this morning? Through a guided meditation. If I remember, I'll try to remember to put the Nicky Sutton guided angel meditation thing. I'll put a link in here to Insight Timer. But you can look it up in Insight Timer for Nicky Sutton. It's something with angels and, I don't know, God, guardian, something or other. See how much it kind of doesn't matter what it actually is, that it's the right one? Because it's about you, really. It's about you and allowing and surrendering and accepting. This object was the subject of the meditation this morning. And then it's a magnifying glass. And then what do you make of it? And I think what solidifies it, what makes it stronger, is the fact that I'm recording something right now and talking about it. Because otherwise I might have woken up, turned the lights, started my day, and I'm like, what was that thing about the magnifying glass? That was interesting. Yeah, whatever. Okay, bye. And move on. Whereas I am solidifying and improving and making better and making stronger the idea by talking through it here in this audio. Remember, I'm not saying you make it public like I do, but hey, I'm sort of a glutton for punishment as far as what I make public and not. But I do a lot of this to show you just how accessible your deeper mind and unconscious mind is. So, the magnifying glass, one more thought on that is that if you think about it, that light, it's all out there, right? And there's sun and there's a direct sun, there's a big ball of flames. But even if it's a tiny bit cloudy, that magnifying glass would still work, right? So if you think about it, there's all this energy out there that if you focus it and you have a tool, for example, it's a magnifying glass, it can collect that power. And then if you focus it and if you're steady and you do the angle right and the distance right, then you can focus, like laser focus that power. So for me, right now, the message, like the reality message, the real life message, is the year of you. And that was what I was doing yesterday, and that's what I want to do more keynotes on, and have the power of that you realize that you can change who you are on an annual basis. And again, I don't mean who you are like I'm a dentist and now I'm a gymnast, although that's possible. But it's more slighter changes, and that it's possible to make those changes. You can make those changes. It's possible for you to do it. And just like this morning, it helps to have a guide who has a plan. So that's me. I'm your guide for your plan to make changes, improvements in your life, recognizable, measurable improvements in your life in the coming year. That's not bad, right? And this is no AI. This is me in the dark talking into the darkness and hopefully into the brightness of your sunny disposition as you listen to this. So I hope this helps. If you want to learn more, you can go to, well, I can't believe I'm pitching it here. Go to repossible.com/YOY, like year of you. repossible.com/YOY to learn more about how you can realize your changes. You can make them real by collecting the energy that's out there, the energy that's in you, and focusing it with something as simple as a magnifying glass, or as simple as my program to make all that energy out there focused so that it becomes one powerful point of light. And you can either choose to make that powerful point of light set leaves on fire, like if you're 8 years old, or to change your life even a little bit so that this year is your year, and this year is your best year so far. And I say so far because, you know what? I want to do the whole thing again next year, and next year you're going to be more practiced at it, and you're going to believe that you could do it, and next year you're going to make that year even better than the current year. But first, let's make this current year even better. That was pretty good, right? For in the dark at who knows what time in the morning, and the sun's barely up, in total darkness here. And this all came from a magnifying glass and Nicky Sutton on Insight Timer. It can be as easy as that. Find a guide. I'll be yours if you like. Have a plan. Avoid failure. Achieve success. Get over your problem. It's as simple as that. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week or tomorrow.